There was just an announcement 3 hours ago, as of the time of the filming of this segment, an announcement showing No Man's Sky Worlds. Apparently what this represents is a total overhaul of how No Man's Sky does their procedural tech, which is wild because I didn't even know you could really do that. But let's see what this is before we say anything.
Introducing No Man's Sky version 5.0. A complete refresh of the universe. With new technology, new flora and fauna, and new gameplay. Planet variety is far beyond what was possible before. Oceans have waves, reflections, and more variety. Planets have wind patterns. Waves are dynamic and react to weather. On the surface of the planet, there are new volumetrics and atmospherics. New cloud tech allows detailed clouds and weather conditions. In storms, waves, wind, and clouds interact for incredible immersion.
Jeez. Just that shot alone is already way more interesting than anything that's been in No Man's Sky up until this point. Like, the frustrating thing with No Man's Sky for so long is that all of the planets kind of look the same, but like, oh, this one's blue, this one has green stuff. This actually seems like there's a lot of variability, and that's impressive.
New creatures are out there to discover. With a combat-focused expedition. Our journey continues.
Golly, I saw a little side-by-side. Let me see. Yeah, like this guy's got a side-by-side showing the previous build where the water is all just completely flat. The second build, or the new build, where there's actual waves simulated and stuff on the water, things like that, which is cool. Yeah, new clouds. They've got like floating islands now on some planets.
With every update, we just want to surprise. New worlds. New gameplay. New technology. We're 8 years in now, and we still just want to do really big things. Our next update is called Worlds Part 1. I'm so proud of the team and the love they're pouring into it.
Oh, they got a new studio.
We are completely refreshing the universe with new technology, new flora, new fauna, and new gameplay.
16 times the detail.
In No Man's Sky, what you see on screen is generated by the computer.
I'm sorry. I don't know why that's funny. It's just like, yeah. Yep. Sure is, Sean. It's generated by the computer. The music sounds like it's an Ozempic commercial. Kinda. I think you're onto something. I mean, there is no doubt that No Man's Sky is seeing a tremendous turnaround, okay? It started as one of the most catastrophic flops of the PS4 era. And then they made this huge turnaround where now it's like a wild success. Will asks an interesting question. Starfield having even a quarter of the depth and scope of exploration with this game would save it, maybe, I don't know. And that's with Starfield having already borrowed some ideas from No Man's Sky, albeit less expanded. Well, that's it. I mean, I think the question is, if BGS does what they say they're going to do, which is that they're going to continue updating that game for years, can they have this level of a turnaround and get it to this level of like just crazy improvement? Personally, I don't think so, because the only reason this is a thing is because they like had this real moment of crushing defeat when No Man's Sky launched and was horribly received, and everybody was like, it was pretty horrible. They were sending like death threats to them and all that craziness. But I think that caused them to kind of pause, reflect, and be like, oh, okay, we either just move on or we need to fix this. And they decided to fix it, and they doubled down and they worked their asses off over the last 8 years, and they've turned it around. But that only happened because they saw that something was wrong and then they worked to fix it. My thought, especially after doing that 8-hour Starfield video, I don't think BGS sees anything wrong with Starfield. I think they see a couple of things that they want to add, like the maps. They got convinced to do that. And then I think the rover they're doing, just because it'll be a big update that'll bring people back to the game. But I don't think they really believe that there's anything wrong with Starfield fundamentally. I think they believe that everybody who doesn't like Starfield is just a hater.
And we're achieving a level of variety that just wasn't possible before. When we started No Man's Sky, I wanted people to feel like they had stepped into the cover of a science fiction novel. That to create a lot of new technology. New water technology can create waves, inflections, oceans. Look so different to what we had before. Ocean planets feel completely new, and ships can now land on water. 6 months ago, we announced Light No Fire. It's this crazy ambitious game.
Yeah, we'll look at that too.
And we've been working on it for years, and we've learned so many things. And it feels like we're almost bringing this technology back from the future. Planets have wind patterns, waves are dynamic, and they react to the weather.
Oh,
my favorite thing in the game might just be flying through the clouds and out into space.
I will say the one thing about all of this is I'm still left trying to figure out what the loop is. I've tried to get into No Man's Sky like 15,000 times, and every time I try, it's like, okay, this is cool, but what am I doing that makes it fun? And maybe I just need to play with other people. Maybe I need to, I don't know, look up guides or something. One person on stream like a year ago when we tried it was like, Luke, you just have to put like 80-ish hours in and then it really clicks. And I was like, bro, I don't have 80 hours to put into something to maybe have it click. Like, to me, 80 hours to maybe start liking it is just not like, I just can't do that, man. I just can't. Props to you if you can do that. But for me, I'll give a game, like, realistically, what will I give a game? I think it depends on the type of game or who's made it and stuff. Because if it's a totally unknown developer, I'm probably less forgiving. But if it's from like an accomplished studio, I might have more time that I'm willing to give it. But typically, like, after an hour or two, if I'm not liking it, like, I'm not going to keep playing it. Like, after an hour, I feel like I've given it a good chance. And if the game takes more than an hour to get good, I feel like that's not my fault. Like, at that point, you're just asking me to trust you that it'll eventually get good. I have no doubt that for a lot of people, No Man's Sky is awesome. Clearly, like, this stuff looks really cool, and I'd like to be able to play these late game type of saves and see what the game has to offer in the late game side of things. But I just don't have the time to put in 100 hours, 200 hours to start having that fun. I think one of the most important things for them to tackle next, beyond these cool updates, I would love to see them try to figure out how to make that progress curve feel much better. Because right now it's like you land on a planet when you first boot into No Man's Sky, and then you run around collecting various materials and doing some tedious upgrades for 2 hours, and I just have never really clicked with it. I feel like the game is so epic in scope and all this, but it starts in the most mundane, boring way possible. So I'd like to see them try to redo that, but still very, very impressive, no doubt.
Clouds
that
for
seamless
us are a
transition.
unique challenge, right? You can see them from space, you can fly through them, you know, you can land on a planet and look up at the sky. You get these beautiful skies now with just tons of variety. Sometimes a storm hits and, you know, the waves rise, the clouds gather, you've got the atmospherics, the wind, all this technology comes together all at once, and there's nothing like it.
And again, that's very impressive. I just want to know how it makes like the game more fun, because like a lot of people kind of like Sean that are really good at getting people excited for the tech. I feel like a lot of the time the questions aren't then asked like, okay, but it's a video game. So like, what are we going to do? Like, is there a cool way to integrate this stuff into gameplay? Because that could be cool, but I just don't think we're quite there yet.
On the surface of the planet, we've added these new volumetrics. And you get rolling fog, rain, blizzards, little sparks coming up from the lava. It changes how planets feel, you know? It just makes them feel alive. Across these new biomes, we've added new creatures for you to discover. We're really trying to push on the level of variety. It's not enough for us to just do more, you know? We want to create things that people haven't seen before. Expeditions have become a huge part of how folks play the game.
Expedition. Locate your starship, milestone. Yeah, it's an interesting concept, just to like literally make the game about pure exploration, just traveling places.
And this new one is very sort of Starship Troopers inspired. It's something really different. It takes you on a tour of some of these cool new planets that we've added. Everyone is battling together. Progress is community driven, and the rewards are super cool. Something I love is to browse the screenshots that people share with us. I can't wait for people to explore this universe we've made with fresh eyes. The update is called Worlds Part 1 because I guess there's much more to come.
Super cool. It's like No Man's Sky is probably one of the most impressive games that I don't know anyone who's playing. You know, it's like a wildly impressive game, and I don't know a single person who spends time playing it. But that's the thing, is I think the people that play No Man's Sky are only playing No Man's Sky. Like, it is their game, and they pour a lot of time and effort into it, and they love it. I mean, it's no accident. I pulled it up. Light No Fire, this trailer for their next game, 17 million views. Now, granted, that's 17 million views, 8,000 comments. I'm guessing a lot of people are rewatching it over and over again because they're just super excited by it. But that's still a wild turnout for trailers and stuff. Like, that is a very, very high view count for a team that's pretty small, who's released, you know, one big old game and then, you know, that was not greatly received, that they did some rework on. And then, you know, they did another like smaller game, I think it was made by just a few of them. I can't remember what it was called, but anyway, like Marathon, that trailer has 21 million views. Marathon. And that's supposed to be like the big new game, which, by the way, now it sounds like it's a hero shooter. If you haven't seen that segment we did, yeah, it's no longer this like pure extraction thing. It's like a hero shooter now, which I didn't know, but apparently that was reported on like earlier this year, and I just, yeah, I had no idea. Yeah, I know, right, Indigo? When I found it out, I was like, wait, what? Why is Noah talking about this? That's what? I was pretty annoyed by that. But anyway, I have two friends who play No Man's Sky, but that's all they play besides Rainbow Six. Dude, talk about polar opposite games. Like relaxing exploration and then freaking Rainbow Six. That's props to them. I guess you need something to calm down to after all that. He took my thing.